that's made a way to you, that's made a way to you. Your word lives inside of me. Your life, life to all who hears. We live for you. Live your truth. May your kingdom come and your will be done as we serve your heart. Serve your heart. Let salvation flow as your people praise. Lord, we long for more. Long for death is overcome. No power can stand against your name. The power of your name. In faith, we will rise to me. Your hands and feet to all the earth. Life to all the earth. We live for you. Live your truth. May your kingdom come and your will be done as we serve you. Serve you. Let salvation flow as your people praise. Lord, we long for more. Long for more. May your kingdom come and your will be done as we serve your heart. Serve your heart. Let salvation flow as your people praise. Lord, we long for more. Long for more. Long for more of you, Jesus. And we hungry for you, my God. weapon may be formed, but it won't prosper. When darkness falls, it won't prevail. 'Cause the God I serve knows only God of triumph. My God will never fail. Oh, my God will never fail. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the power belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. There's power in the mighty name of Jesus. Every work he wages, he will win. I'm not backing down from any giant. 'Cause the God I know, this story got end. Yes, I know how this story ends. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you take it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. You take what the enemy meant for evil, you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, you turn it for good. You turn it for good. Welcome to our service. We're so glad you have connected with us today. And if this is your first time, like I say every Sunday, I hope it's not your last. We're in a brand new year, and we have our brand new series called We Can Be Better for 2021. And today, Sunday, tomorrow, the 11th of January, we start our fasting, 21 days of fasting. So if you want to join, you can get in contact with us, and we would like to help you through the journey. We're going to be fasting from tomorrow all the way to the 31st of this month. So we'd like for you to join. And please let us know if we're making a difference. And if you're following us, this message, we would like to hear from you. We would like to connect with you. So like I said, share this message. And if this is your first time, we're here for you. You are the reason why we do what we do. So we've been in this series. This is the third part of our series, about being better. How can we be better for 2021? Because we've been saying that because of what we've been through, we need to learn, because pain without gain will be a shame. It's a shame, pain without gain. Everything that we have learned through this times of crisis that we've been going through, that we're still going through, it's a time for us to learn how to be better for next time, how to be better in the middle of the crisis, how we can be better forward, how we can be better for any situation that we face. And we've been saying that we definitely can be better for 2021. And the question is, how can we be better? And if we just take a look at what we've been going through, what we've learned throughout the process, we're basically going to be better for whatever life comes ahead of us. And the reality is, we've been asking some questions. How can we be better? We were asking the question,
What have we been doing that almost led to our undoing? What were you doing when the crisis really got close to you, or you went in the middle of it, or it started around you? What were doing that almost led to your undoing? When you identified that thing that you were doing, you can actually work to become better. But we make that question better. We ask ourselves, what should we begin doing that we should have been doing all alone? It will be a tragic. It will be a tragic if you forget all the stuff that you learned throughout this time of crisis. It will be a tragic if you don't really sit down, pause, and see everything that we've been through and say, you know what? This is a brand new year. This is a new opportunity for me, for my family, for everything that I've been through. I need to change. I need to do some changes. One of the things that really gave me a life lesson is that I don't know when have you ever been thinking about somebody and you feel like calling them and telling them that you love them, and sometimes you postpone that thought, that idea. But this year, when the pandemic started, I was able to call my grandma. She was in outside of the country, in my country. So when I called her from here, from the U.S., I called her to say, you know what? Don't open the door for everybody. Be careful. Take care of yourself. I don't want you to get you. You know, she was an elderly woman. I didn't want her to get infected. It was very. There were so many questions at that moment, more than answers. And when I called her, I reminded her that I loved her very much, and she started telling me that she loved me back. Little did I know that in the next hour or so that she was going to be taken to the hospital, and a couple of weeks after that, she was going to die. But you know what? What I take from that moment is that I would be regretting right now if I would not make that phone call, if I would not express how I felt about her, how much I loved her. So one thing that I learned is that, you know what? Call anybody that comes to my mind, remind them, tell them what they meant to you whenever you get that thought, because you don't know. You don't know when you're not going to be able to fly out of the country to go visit the person, to go see the person. So this is what we need to do. We need to take everything we've been through, financially, personally, relationally, and really think about, what can I start doing? What can I do? What can I be better? What did I learn in the area of my financials that I need to change moving forward into a new year? What did I learn in the areas of my relationship when I had to spend the quarantine with my family, and I didn't have nowhere to go? What did I learn? What did I learn throughout this moment internally? And my faith, did I grow? How did this crisis found me? And when you go through all that, you discovered, and you will learn, and you actually need to move forward being better for whatever it is that is ahead of you. But one of the things that I also shared last week is that we all have a superpower. And we were talking really deep into it, talking about the superpower that we all have, that we all share, and it's the power is that we don't choose what happens to us. Our superpowers is I was saying it's an innate ability that empowers you to be better for anything that comes or came your way, and we don't have control. I was saying last week, we don't have control of whatever life throws at us. We don't have control of what happened 9 months ago in the country, what happened 9 months ago in the world. You don't have control of a lot of stuff that are happening around you. But one of the things is that we know that we have a superpower, because in reality, we didn't choose the pandemic. We said the pandemic chose us, but it left us with choices. And that choices is that for us to use our superpower, and that superpower is the power of responsibility, the power to respond, and it empowers you to respond and choose what will be the response. And using this power of responsibility empowers you to turn bad into good, to turn situations, mean people, evil people, into situations that works out for your best. And this is the point, is that you don't choose what happens to you, but you choose how you respond to it. We've been talking about that. We talked about that last week. We're going to keep digging into it. But for us to talk about that ability that we have to respond rather than to merely react, it's the ability to choose the response rather than to have it dictated by our circumstances. And for us to talk about that, we were talking in a way that saying that because of that ability, this is why we can be better for this year, whatever happens to us. And the reality is that you might be in that situation, because I've been there too, is that there's a catch with this. The responsibility or the response that you should pick in any situation that life throws at you, that response, the best response to any situation, doesn't come natural to us. It's not the one that we feel like doing. It has to be a response that needs to be measured, needs to be well thought out, and that response has the ability, the response that comes, that has the power or the potential to reverse the natural course of things, isn't natural. Basically, that's the thing. That's something that we need to talk. And last week we started talking about Joseph. Joseph, one of the characters in the scripture, that any situation life threw at him, he responded with responsibility. He had a major response. He had a response that was well thought, and it didn't matter what happened to him. He kept making good decisions. He kept responding to the crisis in his life in a whole different way. And we were learning about him. And if you don't know, if you didn't watch last week, Joseph was the 11th son of Jacob. Jacob was the son of Isaac. Isaac, the son of Abraham, to whom God has promised him that he will bless all the nations of the world through him. So Abraham had a son named Isaac. Isaac had a son named Jacob. And Jacob had a whole company of children, 12 children. And one of them, the 11th son of Jacob, was named Joseph. Joseph was sold by his brothers. He was sold by his brothers and sisters. He was sold as a slave, and after he was sold to the slave as a slave, he ended up being in the house of Potiphar, and then his wife started wanting to have sex with Joseph, and Joseph escaped and reused, and things were going bad to Joseph, and he was thrown in jail. But all alone, even everything that was happening to Joseph, he chose to respond this way. He responded as if God was with him, even when it looked as if God had abandoned him. Joseph, it didn't matter what happens to Joseph. He was sold by his brothers. He was kidnapped by his brothers, sold twice, framed, imprisoned. Everything that went wrong with Joseph, he chose to respond as if God was with him, even when it looked as if God had abandoned him. And I ask you, how will you respond this year if you know God is with you, if you will be confident that God is with you? And I think this is a good approach, because I'm telling you, I would like to develop a faith and a conscience, an awareness that it doesn't matter what happens to me, I'm going to face it as if God is with me. I don't care what's going on, I'm going to face it. In the other end, I'm going to be with God, and God is going to be with me. Or in the middle of it, God is in my boat, and He's in my life, He's in my situation. Joseph shows in his actions, with everything that he did, he showed that he faced and respond to everything as if God was with him, even when it looked that God had abandoned him. And maybe that's where you are. Maybe that's why you left church. Maybe that's why you left God. Maybe that's why you probably in this moment depressed and you don't understand a lot of what's happening to you, because you were expecting everything to go well, everything to go good for you. And things started changing. You lost someone that you love. You lost something that you were waiting for. You lost your job. You lost everything. And your future doesn't seem to be so brightful. But what about if you choose to respond in a different way than what you're feeling like now? What about if we learn to respond to Joseph, to use the superpower of respond ability, that ability that, you know what, I should be crying right now, I should be feel like a victim, but I'm going to get up, I'm going to dry my tears, I'm going to go forward, I'm going to look my family in their face, and I say, you know what, we're going through something, but we are actually going to come across, we're going to make it. What about if you choose to respond rather than react? What about if you choose to do something different than what others are expecting from you? Maybe you should be hating somebody, but what about if you choose to forgive somebody right now instead of hate that person for the rest of your life? Joseph decided to move forward and respond as if God was with him, even when it looked as if God had abandoned him. And look at this. Maybe you never know, but Joseph was kidnapped once, sold twice, framed, and imprisoned. And that's what we left last week. Last week we left it there. Joseph, their brothers, kidnapped him, sold him twice, framed him, and he was framed in the house of Potiphar, framed for something that for a crime that he didn't commit, framed for something that he didn't do. He was actually put in jail for doing the right thing. A lot of people are in jail for doing the wrong thing. This guy was in jail for doing what was right. And reality is, bad things have been happening to him and to good people from a long time. Not only to Joseph, to you, to me. People that don't deserve what's happening to them, they've been happening to them from a long time. Even those people that God was with them, things that happens to them. And we'll pick up the story there. This is where we're going to pick up the story now. Joseph is in prison. He's basically spending years there, and while he was in prison, he was put in prisons with the prisoners of the king. And there inside the prison, he was actually with the cupbearer of Pharaoh, the king, and the baker of the king. And at this point, he's with them. He's with these two, and they have a dream. And after they have a dream, Joseph had the gift to interpret his dreams. And right away he interpreted the dream for both of them, but one of them didn't have much luck in the dream. Joseph told him, look, to the baker, he said, basically he told him, you're going to die. Pharaoh is going to kill you. And to the cupbearer, he said, you're going to live. He's going to forgive you. You're going to stay. You're going to go back to serve the cup for the king. And at this point, whatever Joseph told them actually came true, realized they were set free, but one of them got killed, and the other one was actually left alive. And when he was leaving, Joseph told him, remember me, basically, remember where I am, remember to tell Pharaoh about me, so I can. And at this point, Joseph was actually forgotten in prison, and the cupbearer never remembered him. If not, after 2 years, Pharaoh had a dream. I mean, he remembered him, but after 2 years, Joseph was now 30 years old, and after 2 years, the cupbearer remembered that Joseph knows how to interpret dreams, and told Pharaoh, oh, listen, I know someone that can interpret your dream. And the dream was, and then they send them to get him from prison. And when Joseph is in front of Pharaoh, then Pharaoh, he interprets the dream for Pharaoh, and he tells him there's going to be a famine of hunger, so you're going to have to save the grain and food for this amount of years, because then you will have the same exact amount of years of no harvest, and there will be hunger throughout the entire earth. So I would recommend that you do this, you do that. And then bottom line, he became the man that actually made all that happen and saved the day and the entire country. And now, because of that, Joseph becomes the second most important man of the entire country. But the story doesn't finish there, because the hunger would extend all around the world, the known world in that moment, and even to the house of his father Jacob. So his father Jacob told his sons, which are Joseph's brother, go see in Egypt to go get food. And then when they come, they realize Joseph sees them, but they don't recognize Joseph. And then they come, and Joseph just plays the part, and he gets all emotional when he sees his brother that betrayed him now coming to him for food. And long story short, he captures one of them and they tell them that there's a younger brother at home, and he said, go get your brother, prove yourself right, make sure, let me see if you're saying the truth, because I think you guys are spies and you came to steal the food. And they go back and they bring their father with them, and the father dies, and at that moment the brothers, Joseph reveals that he's Joseph, the one that they sold to the slave. And at this moment when the father died, they're all scared that Joseph is going to actually do to them what they did to him. And they come and they bow down on their knee, and then they tell Joseph that they are at their mercy, they're their slave. And Joseph tells them, you meant to harm me. You meant to do wrong to me. You meant to do harm me. But whatever you did, God, what you intended for evil, whatever you intended for evil, God used it to accomplish and to save many people. And at this moment, when the brothers are vulnerable, and when they are there and he can do whatever he wants with them, he tells them, who am I? So I can do that to you. I'm not God, so I can do that to you. And Joseph chooses to do with them as they didn't do with him. He chose to respond to his brothers how the brothers didn't respond to him. When he was on power, when the brothers had the power over him, they chose to sell Joseph. And now that Joseph has power over them, he chooses to save his brothers. You see the difference, how he's responding to all the situation. But this is how the story ends. But if you see all alone in every situation Joseph is going through, he's responding with ability. He's responding differently. He's actually thinking and telling himself, what is the best thing I can do right now? You know why? And at the end, he finished saying, what you guys meant for evil, God turned it for good for my life, to save many people. And this is the thing. Joseph knew that every situation that he was going through, he came to realize it was only a chapter in his story. He realized that God was writing a bigger story with his life. Basically, sometimes we get so caught up in the moment of what's happening to us that we fail to see that God might be doing something bigger, larger, and better with our lives. Maybe the moment that you're living now is just that. It's just a moment thing. And God is trying to do something greater in your life. But it's up to you to respond with ability, to choose your response, to know that maybe God is going to use that moment, that situation, that breakup, that loss that you have in your life and your family and your situation, your finances and your personal life, anywhere that where you are in a negative situation, maybe God is using that little chapter to write an entire book. But don't judge your entire life over a moment. Be careful what you do in a moment. Don't use a momentarily situation to take a permanent decision. Don't do something today that will ruin you for the rest of your life. Don't do something now that will have to make you a liar for life. Don't become a liar for life. Don't do something today that you will gonna have to skip tomorrow when you say in your story. Instead, let's learn from Joseph. Let's stay and focus. Let's say, God, use everything that is happening to me. Let's do like Joseph did. He believed God was with him, and he acted as if God was with him, even when it looked that God had abandoned him, because then God used everything that he went through for a bigger purpose, to preserve the family from which Christ came. Maybe this is what's happening. God is going to use everything that you're going through, or that you will be going through this year, to write a bigger and greater story, not only for you, but to save many people, like Joseph said. God, you intended to harm me, but God turned it into good so he can accomplish to save many lives. He said it like that. In the words of Joseph, he said, he used it to save many lives. Maybe you don't know what's hanging on the balance of you. Maybe you don't know what God is going to do to use your situation to save and create a bigger story. Sometimes we go through so much, and maybe we just have a part in the big story, and that's the part that we're playing now. But we don't know until you reach the end and we can see the entire story. Don't judge your story by a chapter. Don't judge your entire story by what you're going through today. Make sure that this situation that you're facing right now just make you better for what God decided to do in the whole picture. So I'll see you next time right here in El Camino. Please let us know if this is getting to you and if you taking something out of this, because we'd love to hear from you. So I'll see you next time right here next week at 12 p.m. in our English service.